I'm Melinda Farrell, and this is Bharat Sundaresan, and we're just hoping we're going to get this preview out of the way before the rain really starts. Oh my gosh, we better talk fast. The big news, of course, here, breaking news from the SCG, is that both of us have washed our hair, and I know that means a lot to you out there.
Very important. I don't know why I still have this covered, because on days when you wash your hair, the last thing you want is rainwater on your hair. That is why it's covered. I don't know why she hasn't covered it, but amateur mistake.
I've been wearing a hat all day, so I've still got hat hair, unfortunately, but at least it's clean. This could be our last preview from a ground of this tour. We've just finished watching the nets, and that might be the last net session we're able to observe in person, because we just still don't know what's going on. Of course, there's no one here around us at the SCG now, but they've made some changes mandating masks. So you're going to be wearing masks. I'm going to be wearing masks the whole time the SCG.
Oh yes, imagine that. I'm sure there are a lot of people in the press box.
No, we're going to have to. I'm just worried about my camera. Okay, well, this is kind of take two. That sun shower there, well, that's a sign of, perhaps a sign of what we should get used to throughout this test, Bharat.
At least the first 2 days, that's what the forecast says. And in Australia, you generally have to believe the forecast. Not if you're in Melbourne, but in Sydney, when they say the thunderstorms are coming or the rains are coming, you better believe them. Because the rains were expected to hit the SCG this evening, and it's happened. So maybe they'll keep, but I don't think we'll have extended periods of play being lost. People will keep running off and running on, like we just did right now.
And just for all of you out there, if you want to know what the weather forecast is, please don't tweet me. Please go to www.googleweather.com and check out the forecast, because I always get people asking me, and all I do is go Google weather and find that out as well. But yes, Sydney does also have a reputation for having a lot of rain at this time of year, and has lost quite a few overs, if not days, of cricket. So we might see a fair bit of that. Maybe a draw's on the card here, which would leave it 1-1 with one game to play for it all.
One game to play either at Brisbane or where? I don't know. No, I mean, it can't go anywhere else, right? We're in Sydney. I can't go anywhere else. So the test match can't go anywhere but Brisbane. So, yeah, I mean, we'll get to the fourth test when that comes around. We won't be there if it happens in Brisbane. You see how many times I've said that? It just basically tells me that nothing can be certain right now. You cannot be sure of what's going to happen, purely because that's the world we live in.
And there's been so much on my mind that on the video I posted up from yesterday, I actually called this the fourth test.
Oh, yes.
It's on my head, and that's because I'm such a muppet. I don't even know how to change that on YouTube, so sorry about that. From our last training session, well, it's just pretty much firmed up what we thought and what you thought about India yesterday, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Rohit faced a lot of the new ball. I just tweeted, I said he faced India's Wanger version of Stark, Cummins and Hazelwood. All of them using the Wanger were at least a feet shorter than those three. No offense to them, but Rohit seemed to handle the new ball okay. There were some that beat the bat, but that does mean that he will open in place of Mayank Agarwal, who we did see get a lot of attention from the coaches, which, at this moment it looks like he's not going to play. But it's an important aspect of what happens in the nets and what happens behind the scenes. It's generally the guy who's left out who needs a lot of attention from the coaches. The guys who've been picked, you picked them for a reason. So it was good to see every coach walk up to Mayank Agarwal, have some words with him, just help him out. So that was good to see, I thought.
Yeah, and another thing that was good to see from India's perspective was Pujara out there looking a lot more comfortable with that finger. I still don't speak Hindi very well, except for the Jodhyar, and he did say, I think, that he was feeling a lot more comfortable today, according to my Hindi interpreter here.
Yes, the Hindi that they speak in Rajkot is very different to the Hindi that they speak in Bombay. But he was speaking to Vikram Rathore, who comes from Punjab. So in that mix, I think I understood what Pujara said. So I think he was very, very comfortable, just like holding the bat, and he put in some firm, dished out some firm drives as well. Also to see whether, when the ball makes contact with the bat, whether that finger was hurting, the finger was hurting, I should say. And he didn't bat for too long. He batted for 10 minutes maybe, and he was more than happy to just walk away. He just wanted to test his finger out. He had a big smile on his face, and Pujara should be fine at number 3, like you said, Rohit at the top, which also means Hanuma Vihari keeps his place, or should keep his place in the middle order. He's walked out to bat in very difficult circumstances more often than not, again under lights against the pink ball, or when the collapse was on in Adelaide, or even in Melbourne when wickets have fallen in a hurry. So I think it's good for Vihari that and his partnership with Rahane has set up the Jadeja, Rishabh Pant aspect of that Indian innings. So he keeps his place, or should, which is good for him, and I think it's good for Indian cricket to have that stability in the middle when you have Rohit and Gill at the top.
Yeah, and Saini, as we talked about, it looks pretty good for Saini being the one to come in. So that's another certainty there. Australia not so certain about their team still. By the time you see this, maybe they will have released it, but they've put it off till maybe tonight, maybe not at all. The main question seems to be, after seeing Warner and Pucovski bat a lot together today, and Warner giving throwdowns to Pucovski at the end of the net session. So the main question seems to be who goes out of Wade and Head. Head did bat for a lot longer today. He batted for a long time. He was in the first group out there and did spend a lot of time in the nets. Probably played a miss more than anyone, but you say he's the worst in the nets.
By his own confession. He always says, don't watch me in the nets, because and I've seen even the other Australian players make fun of him. I think we were in Leeds last year, and they just looked away when he was in the nets. But that's Travis Head. He scores runs. That's his major superpower. See what I did there? Talked up an Adelaide guy. I think yesterday I was pretty mean to him. I thought, talking about him being dropped, he will be dropped. Looks like it will be Matthew Wade who comes in for Travis Head.
See, as someone who comes from Orange, I don't generally have to side with my hometown players, although Phoebe Litchfield, watch out, she's going to be a gum.
You would think it would be Matthew Wade. It would be really unfair pushing up a number 6 to open, and when he's done better than the other opener, and then you drop him on the basis of what? Travis Head, it's amazing to think that just 3 test matches ago he made a famous 100 at the MCG against New Zealand, which seems like a long time ago. It was a long time ago. But yeah, it's just the way he's been getting out. Maybe they have caught up with him. So I guess I'm not sure. Who knows? Australia are keeping their cards very close to their chest.
Yeah. If Travis Head plays and makes sort of 20 or 30 runs and then gets out wafting outside off stump or playing a back foot punch, there are going to be a lot of criticisms of his selection over Wade, won't there?
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of former Australian cricketers go after Head for just lack of game awareness is one criticism he's copped a lot. So yeah, maybe the time has come. Maybe the break will do him well. One thing we do know is Cam Green will play, and I tweeted a video of him yesterday, Mel, saying that he just looks like this really tall poetry in motion, just his footwork.
He looks like a rugby player, like a rugby league back rower or something who does ballet as a little side project. It's ridiculous how balanced he looks. He could possibly get on point, on the tippy toes and do pirouettes. That's how balanced he is.
Yeah, and for all Mel's Indians fans out there, I'll be sending you links to read about what position was it?
He'd be a back rower. He'd be like a second rower, I'd say.
Okay, if you're like me and you don't understand what that position is, a rugby back rower, links will be sent. And
tall, big.
A tall 6 feet 7 inch man doing ballet. I'll try to find a link of that. If not, you can just see Cam Green bat based on what she said.
So that's it. We're all geared up for the pink test. It feels also uncertain, though, just everything at the moment. But as far as we know, we'll be back here with masks on with only a few thousand people now, because as of today, there has been a case at the MCG, thankfully not in the area that we were in. This whole thing is just a postcode lottery.
It is.
We've lost our best mate as well for this test.
Looks like he has gone. Gav Joshi has gone and gotten himself tested, so hopefully he will get his report tomorrow. So if nothing, he's going to miss the first day of the third test.
Whatever does happen, we'll be here to talk about it with you at some point, and I hope you're happy about that. Oh, one other thing, did you know what my goal was at the start of this tour? Was to get 1,000 subscribers on this channel. And thanks to his presence, I think, I've now managed to get almost 10,000 of you. So thank you so much for subscribing. Please feel free, if you're not already, to subscribe. Isn't that amazing? 10,000 people want to listen to this rubbish.
I know, exactly. And it all started in that pub outside that stadium in Sydney. Which one was it? Oh, the North Sydney Oval, right. The pub outside, when we had a chat about Mel's YouTube channel. At that point there was 0 videos, 0 subscribers. Look where we are now. Look where Mel is now. Look, okay, fine, that's right. I don't want to talk about where I am. I have no idea where I am. So,
but look, we will see you at the SCG test. From the SCG test, we'll bring you everything. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it more than you can possibly know. Stay with us and we'll bring you up to date with all that happens.